Hello, everyone. John Bruna here with the Daily Quote. Thanks for joining me here. I do hope you find these bits of wisdom from so many helpful. Today's quote: the most important trip you may take in life is meeting people halfway. That's from Boye. This has been a real valuable lesson in my life personally, especially when I was a high school teacher. Why there's a lot of interactions you have with 180 students, not to mention the greater community at the school and other teachers and administration. It's a stressful job. It's an important job, and I'm grateful to have spent my time in the education system to work alongside so many dedicated people and to see the lives of so many students just come to life in meaningful ways. And this lesson, meeting people halfway, well, the big epiphany I had. And it was taught to me. It's not that I had this epiphany. The epiphany was when I actually put it into place and had the direct experience of it. But the wisdom that was passed on with this quote, meeting people halfway, implied another bit of wisdom that what people say and think makes sense to them, even though it makes no sense to me, and I may have a completely different view. Based on how they're raised, based on what they know, based on the information they have, based on all their experiences in their life, the traumas and the joys, the way they are raised, the environments they grew up in. They see the world different than I do, and their answers or perspective can be very different than mine, and we can be looking at the very same thing. And recognizing that little bit of wisdom that what they're saying absolutely makes sense to them, even though it makes no sense to me. Doesn't mean I'm right and they're wrong. It means we have different experiences. That's all. And that makes all the difference in the world, and certainly made a huge difference in my classroom and in my interactions with others. This meeting people halfway is an understanding that we're all in this thing together, that what I think is right and what my partner might think is right, or a person I'm interacting with, or a customer, or a client, or a family member. It's not that anyone's right. It's all understanding that we have an experience that's subjective, based on my own experiences, based on their experiences. And everyone I meet knows a lot more than I do about many things. And with that open-mindedness, that even the students I was teaching in high school had a lot of knowledge about life that I did not have. I have some knowledge that they didn't have. And that's what made the collaboration in the classroom so much more effective. It's what made my interaction with my colleagues much more effective. I didn't need to be in this camp and they're in that camp. I remember distinctly having a colleague yelling at me, just yelling at me. He was angry, and his front of students was really, I felt extremely inappropriate. And I was ready to defend myself and, yell back at him. Fortunately, he was yelling long enough that I had a moment to regain my composure. And what I realized was they're yelling because they are suffering, they're hurt. And when they stopped yelling, I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can see that you're, upset about this. Can we talk about it? And boy, that just took the energy out of everything. Instead of me yelling back or being in too defensive arguments, he heard that I validated his feelings. And that opened the door for a conversation. And of course, we had a little conversation, and turns out he had misunderstood something, had some information that wasn't accurate. And, half hour later, we're shaking hands, and we became dear friends and colleagues. And so that, I think, is the important lesson here. Meeting people halfway is understanding that people have their own experiences, and I have my own experiences, and that many of the problems in life really stem from a misunderstanding and miscommunication. It's that little simple thing of validating someone's point of view. Not saying it's right, simply validating that it makes sense to them and that you hear them opens the door for clear communication. That's all it takes is, I hear what you're saying. Can you tell me a little more? Now we can have a discussion. And wow, I want to talk about a different type of relationship with anyone. It all starts with meeting people halfway and recognizing that what they think, say, and do actually makes sense to them, even though it may not make any sense to me. And the outcome is they may actually get to hear our point of view as well. Hope you find this helpful. It certainly has been meaningful for me.